Wow, that was a lot of effort.
It's a lot of effort.
It's a lot of effort.
We don't know the payoff yet.
No. If there's going to be,
If there's even anyone out
if
there.
there's,
Hey, Mom. Thanks
hey,
for watching.
hey, all 4 of our friends.
Yeah. So should we do an introduction on what this is and what we're called?
I mean, I guess so. Yeah. Do you?
I'll take the first intro. You get the next one.
Okay, yeah. Because I mean, it's more to you.
This is the first. Oh well, thank you. This is our first episode of Up and Almost. Is that right? Is that the right name?
Up and Almost. Yeah.
Up and Almost. We'll kind of save the meaning later.
Yeah. We'll keep that to ourselves.
It's called Up and Almost. I'm Landon Austin. This is my good friend.
You don't know my name?
You gotta say your own name. That's not my
you
job.
don't know my name?
I know your name.
You're like
Canaan Whichard.
Canaan Whichard, as some people say. No, Canaan Whichard is my name.
Canaan Whichard.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, should we tell them how we met?
That would be fun, yeah.
That'd be
You want
fun.
to just start there?
Yeah, let's start there. Let's give a little backstory on who we are and what we're
Like the
about.
very first time we met, or
I
the
think-
time we met?
Oh, no, the very first time, and
very
then
first-
how we
okay.
reconnected.
So very long ago. This is probably like 2016.
2016, yeah.
Somewhere in 2016.
Yeah.
We were at Centennial Park here in Nashville.
That's right.
And we were playing Ultimate Frisbee.
That's right.
And we played together or against each other. We played at the same time.
Right.
It was like a pickup game. And then we said hi. We exchanged hellos.
But that was a time that I was very lonely in my life, so I
Yeah.
would go on Facebook and join random groups. Like I was like, what can I do today? I'd like just look on Facebook groups. It's like, oh, Ultimate Frisbee, I can play that.
Yeah.
Kind of. I can throw a frisbee.
Yeah.
And so I just went by myself.
Yeah, I mean, I was going by myself too because there wasn't like real at the school that I went to for college. Like we played Frisbee, but there wasn't like real Ultimate going on very
Right.
much. And I loved the game already.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like trying to like kind of get more exposure to it.
Right.
And I was very new to the game too. But yeah, so we met up there, both like just
the
like
park.
alone at the park.
But
And
see,
then
the difference is you had friends or you knew people. I was literally.
okay. Friends is a strong word.
You know how to play. I don't know how to throw a frisbee. Like I'm like, what am I doing? And you
Yeah.
are flicking and hammering all that.
I
Crazy.
don't know about all that, but that's but yeah. So we so we ran into each other there, and then we never saw each other again. Really, I don't think that
was
after that time, because I kept playing at that game. I don't think you.
I never came
think
back. I
you-
was humiliated.
Yeah, you just.
I caught a few TDs, but I can't really throw. Like if I catch it.
First of all, they're not touchdowns; they're goals. It's
Oh, whatever.
an ultimate, just so you know.
Okay. I don't know what your terminology
Yeah,
is.
whatever you mean. I don't
Yeah.
care. But yeah, so and then a year and a half, 2 years goes by, and we're at a New Year's party for going into 2018.
Yeah.
2017 into 2018, and we're at Tyler Ward's house.
Yeah.
And
You have to put the before. The Tyler Ward.
The Tyler
Yeah,
Ward.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, sorry, Tyler.
If he sees this,
Yeah, if
sorry,
he
we
sees
forgot
this.
the.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Please don't end me.
Or angry tweet
I don't-
us.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do if Tyler were ever mad at me. It would be.
He couldn't. He's like a puppy. He
yeah.
wouldn't be mad.
Well, no, he like throws little like child tantrums.
I
Like,
don't
You
know.
know what I mean? He
I
just-
haven't seen that. Okay. So we meet at his New Year's party.
So we meet at his New Year's party, and we hit it off well. Like I think everyone there had a really good time.
Yeah.
And then so we met there, but you left early.
And then.
You left early, and
Yeah.
then I saw you like 2 days later.
Right.
And do you remember one of the
So,
things that I
here's
asked you?
Well, here's what happened. So I met you at the party because I
Yeah.
brought my girlfriend
Yeah.
to this New Year's party.
At the time.
Tyler invited us.
Yeah.
And I met you, and it was whatever, and met everyone.
You know, it was whatever.
I was like, I think I know you from Frisbee. Whatever. But then 2 days later, I saw you again because her and I had broken up.
Yeah.
I needed a friend.
Yeah. So like you were coming back over to Tyler's place when we were hanging out. I think we were watching football or something.
Yeah.
And you just walked in. We were all kind of kicking it. I just went, "Hey, is your wife coming?"
Oh,
and you
gosh.
do you remember me
Yes,
saying
I
that to you?
remember that.
And you were like, "No, we're not married." And I was like, "Okay, sorry."
Yeah,
Like
sorry
I
if I
could
was
tell.
sensitive.
I could tell that you were like tender about it, and we didn't know each other very well.
No,
but
no.
I just I don't know why I thought. I could have sworn that I saw a ring on her finger or something. Like there was something
Who could
about.
have guessed you could see into the future?
Wow. Yeah. So that's so funny.
That's funny because she's engaged now to someone else. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So she's engaged to someone else. But no. But yeah. So I could have sworn that you guys were married. It's something about you guys being together
Yeah.
or something. I would have, if anyone would ask, been like, yeah, they were married.
We
So
were very much not
yeah,
married.
you're very much not
We were
married.
2 days away from breaking
You were
up.
so close. You were like the opposite.
The opposite end of
Almost
married.
the absolute. Yeah, you were almost divorced. Like if you were married, it wasn't gonna last much longer.
whatever breakups. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. So we saw you guys there, and then from there, you didn't hate me for asking you whether or not.
That's cool. It was
and
just sent out. I just
yeah.
went and cried in my car.
just very, very, very sad.
It was
Just
a
a
sad
sad
It was a sad
boy.
season.
Sad boy, sad season. And then from there, we basically just kept hanging out with Tyler was like our mutual friend.
Yes, he was.
Like we weren't exclusively hanging out
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
But we would still always hang out because like we kind of formed.
And I went to like a men's group Bible study at your house that your roommate was in.
That's true. And
So
I
I would
wasn't in
see
it.
you. You weren't in it.
I wasn't. Not for reasons that you might believe, but like it was. Yeah, it was just. I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And,
We invited you though.
oh well, I mean, like it would.
I wanted you there.
Yeah.
Even though you
thank
insulted
That's
me
right.
and asked about my wife. But I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay. No, I was very. Yeah. No, but you were doing that. Were you doing that before Tyler did it? Or you were doing it because of Tyler, right?
I went through my breakup, and this was a long-term relationship. I was, 4
It was
years
like 4
with
years,
this person.
right? Yeah.
And coming out of that, I had friends, but I'd spent a lot of time with this person I was dating. So coming out of that, I kind of wanted to revamp my life and meet new people. So I met Tyler. And like I mean, the first time I hung with Tyler was like a week before the New Year's Eve party. But he invited me to that. And then when I had my breakup, he invited me to that men's group, that Bible study. So I went to that, and then I started hanging out with him and you and
Johnny,
Adrian a little bit.
we went to Virginia.
That's right. Went to Virginia 2 weeks after knowing you guys. I
Yeah,
went to
yeah.
Virginia
It was
with
like
y'all.
January 15th. We went for a New Year's party. The
That's
guy
right.
the guy that ran the Bible study was a childhood friend of mine, and his family always has a New Year's party. But they actually lived in Nashville.
Yeah.
And his dad had work commitments and stuff, so they couldn't do New Year's.
Yeah.
But they still had the party back in Virginia 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So we had our New Year's here, and 2 weeks later we drove to Virginia for 5 hours, and then we were we
Having a trip together.
had a trip together.
And now
It was
here
a
we
great
are,
time.
a year later,
I know.
doing this.
Whatever
this is.
whatever this is.
It's
Which
a weird
is,
stage of our friendship.
Hey, but it's a good stage. I
It's a
think
good
it's
stage.
But back to what I was saying was that you, we didn't hang out exclusively.
Right.
For I don't know, Marty. Hello, you okay?
I'm just checking our computer, make sure
Oh,
it's working.
okay,
Yeah.
make sure we're great. Yeah, actually, I do. I actually
Can you
can
see that
Yeah,
clearly?
yeah,
You'll
I
see
can.
a box if it's not working.
Yeah,
but you're
for
good.
sure. I just heard Marty somewhere around here farting or
I have a
snoring or
dog.
something.
Everywhere.
I think everyone knows that you have a dog.
Yeah, if you've seen me before, you've seen my dog.
Yeah, if you follow you on anything.
You know why? Marty is in everything I post because Marty gets the love. It used
Marty
to be
gets the love.
back
dog.
in the day when I started music. Be like, "Oh, Landon, I like your music, whatever." Now they're like, "I like your dog." Thanks. I also do music. They're like, "Really?"
I don't care. You're a dog
I like your
dad
dog
to
more.
this beautiful creature.
Marty, I need you for my business.
Yeah.
Please don't ever leave me. And I love you.
Even though whenever I leave, I just leave you here because you're self-sufficient.
That's right. She is. Actually, Marty, she's 3 years old, and she was the worst puppy. It took 8 months to potty train her. Or
Oh, really?
housebreaker.
I
mean,
actually didn't know that.
No. For 8 months, she would come up out of nowhere and just bite me. I'd call her a land shark because I'd be walking, she'd be like, "Arr," and it would hurt. Like her teeth were so sharp.
Oh, because she's a little baby pup.
Yeah, with really sharp teeth
Yeah.
and just no manners. Just the worst roommate. She's like, you take care of me, but I'm going to bite the heck out of you. So
That's
she would
funny.
bite me, and then she would want to pee every night at 4 a.m. Every single night. I
Like a
wanted to
good baby.
strangle her.
Like a good little baby.
For honestly, the peeing 4 a.m. was the first 2.5 years we lived together. Like that never went away.
Really?
The biting went away a year in, but the peeing in the middle of the night never did. So about 6 to 8 months ago, I'm like, I'm getting you a dog door. I'm going to teach you how to use this thing. And you know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to get you an automatic feeder so I don't have to think about it. Like, we're literally roommates now. We just pass each other in the halls. Like, oh, hey, you still here?
Oh, look
Cool.
look
Hey,
what
we'll
you're
play
doing.
together
How
later.
cool. How
And we
cool is
cuddle.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because you don't have anyone to cuddle with. You cuddle with
Yeah, I cuddle with Marty every night.
Cuddle
She
with
fills
Marty.
that void. I'm a big touch person.
big physical
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
physical touch. That's like my number
love
one.
languages, really.
Oh, we're going to talk about love languages?
Well, we're gonna. Is
Are
that
we there?
oh,
Like,
wow.
I don't even think we've ever talked about that off
No,
outside of this.
I don't think so. Well, okay, I have opinions about the love language thing. Just because, to me, if it's if your love language kind of isn't quality time, then you're
kind of a jerk.
you kind of what is it then? Okay, let's look at it because there's there's words of affirmation. All these other things. Let me just say are nice things. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
they're not bad
Right.
by any stretch of the imagination. But you have gift giving.
Yeah.
You have words of affirmation,
Acts of service,
physical touch,
right.
and then quality time.
Right.
Quality time is just all of those things.
Yeah.
So if it's not quality time and you're trying to say it's something else,
if it's like
you're a
gifts,
crazy person.
I always feel bad. I mean, gifts is my least. Like that's the one I don't, because gifts
now,
make me feel guilty.
Now I like, because there's like a love languages that you put out and there's love languages that you receive.
Yeah.
So like I can see the gifts one for putting out, because like my mom, for example, is a huge gift giving
because it shows that you're thoughtful.
Yeah, she's a very, very considerate. She loves, like, her favorite thing in the world is to get you like just the right gift.
Right.
And if you don't know what it is, that's even better.
Right.
Like if you don't know what's coming.
But like if your mom was buying me a gift, it would literally make me feel guilty, because I'd be like, wow, I didn't get you anything.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I have to return it, and it just feels like a burden.
Yeah.
If you touch me, I'm like, this is nice. This is good. This does a lot for me.
Oh, this is exactly what I'm here for.
No, and it's not even okay. I have to clarify. It's not a weird touch. Like a hand on the shoulder when I'm driving. Like I respect that and appreciate that.
I remember probably 3 or 4 months ago at some point, because you don't like dudes being
not
touchy
dude touch.
Dude,
it's like touch in the context of a relationship.
You're not a fan of like the you're not a fan of the dude touch. But I remember a few months ago, I started giving you a massage, and you were so conflicted. You were like, it's you, but this is also so good.
Let me say this. Canaan's the most touchy male friend I've ever had. You're like the most. Like, even when my dad met you, he's like, oh, the funny touchy guy. Like, yeah. Like that's what you are. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah, like
that's hilarious.
You are. So
oh my god.
When I first met you, you're very huggy and like whatever, and I'm like, I endure. Like you hug me, and I'm like, cool, this is fun.
Yeah. I'm not. But you're very rigid. You're very rigid whenever.
Because I've got big walls that I keep up. But
as
I got to know you more, like you put a hand on me or whatever. Like this is cool. I'm tensing up like a defense mechanism. But then you started rubbing my shoulder. I'm like, oh, this is such a weird dichotomy. Because I like it, but it's. I can't handle the touch. I don't know. And then I was just like, I just gave in, and it felt so good. This is weird to say. You just have good, strong hands, man.
Just good, strong hands.
Because, like, I've had a girlfriend or whatever give me a massage, but they're so weak.
It's a different thing. It's like the grip strength. But there is, oh, dude, I have a female friend, and she gives hand massages.
Oh.
Holy.
I'm getting chills.
I didn't even realize that was an enjoyable thing. And then at one point, a few years ago, she just... Like, we were just sitting together, and she just started doing it, and I was like, what is happening?
I know.
And that's not a dude thing. Like,
no.
Like, if you're a straight man, you're not going to enjoy that from a dude nearly as much as from a woman. Because it's like, and there's something about, like...
It's kind of romantic.
It's kind of romantic, but it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I feel like... What's another word for romantic, but it's, like, not, like... emotional. It's just physical. You know what I mean?
That's terrible. What's the word for when you use someone?
No. I mean, like, I don't know what she was getting out of it, but we didn't have like a romantic relationship.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
sensual.
Yeah. Sensual. That's something more like what I was going for. Yeah. I knew that there was another word, but romantic just seemed like. And if she heard that I said that something was happening between us that was romantic, she'd be so mad.
No, I get it.
So it's not. But that's what I mean. It is very sensual. It's a very sensual feeling.
So it's funny you say that, because when I was in college, I lived in this dorm. I went to Belmont University, and my freshman year was the best year of my life. Hands down, every year I've ever had in my life, that was the best year. And a big reason was, in my freshman dorm, it's a bunch of 18-year-old dudes. And every night we'd go to the lobby, and I'm not kidding, there would be girls from the neighboring dorm who would just give us back massages. Like, not romantic at all. Just
full back?
Like back. They'd even rub your legs. Like, there's these really nice girls who are our friends who would sit in our lobby every night and hang out, and they just give us back massages. And we'd play like video games and watch movies, and they'd give us back massages. I felt like I was on vacation. Like it was awesome. It was my first experience.
Like you should be paying for it.
I know. Well, I was paying for Belmont, which was expensive, but they don't throw that in. That's just the extra perk.
That's just you being,
hey, us good at making friends who are nice to us. But I wasn't the only one. But like they just go down the line and give us back massages. They were super nice girls, and that was the best year ever. Like, I miss those days. Yeah. Yeah. It was fun.
Did you have a favorite girl?
I do, but I'm not going to. There's no reason to. She just had very strong hands. Like, kind of like with you with your hands.
She had was she like a rower? Like what?
I don't know. I mean, maybe athletic grip. She did a lot of stress balls. I don't know.
I don't know what she's doing.
Like in class, she's just doing
stress ball. She's just stress balling it up just all the time in class.
I want to backtrack because I feel like you don't believe in the love language, or you think they're stupid. Well, okay,
I don't think that they're stupid. stupid necessarily. I just don't know. Like their validity is more like what I'm. Right. I'm like I don't know. Like I guess, but like if it's not, but someone corrected me or corrected. I'll say that lightly. But someone was like, here's a different idea. Just because you're so into quality time, you can't possibly see that other people would enjoy something more. So if you enjoyed those other things more, then like it would be super confusing, like to see other people enjoy quality time. Right. And I was like, yeah, but that's like coming from the other angle. I feel like it's a way, like if you're a gifts person, right, and someone goes, but quality time is number one, you go, oh, that makes sense. Like I don't feel like that, like as a gifts person, that would be surprising. Yeah, they would have a hard time understanding. Yeah, exactly. But so I don't know. Like it just seems like, I don't think that there's nothing to it, but I feel like if you just say for everyone like, hey, quality time is number one, and then what's after that, right, that maybe warrants a better conversation, because I think like the other ones are rankable. Right. Like gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, and what was
quality time,
physical touch.
Physical touch, yeah.
So then easily down beneath quality time is like physical touch and affirmation, because we're who we are. We try to make stuff. Right. So like if you're not being told like, hey, you're doing good, like you feel like you're dying inside.
Well, no, I totally.
From time to time.
Like mine's touch, almost tied with quality time, and then it's words of affirmation. Exactly. It's because I want to know that like I'm valuable and that I'm impressing you or whatever.
Like you just have to. Validation is like a big thing, especially in like something like a
when
relationship.
You're creative and entrepreneurial.
And it's like some people just don't care. Those people blow my mind. Yeah. Like I've met some people that like they're like whoever they're involved with are just like they just never. And I'm like,
no, I know.
How do you do it?
No, totally. Can you imagine being into touch but not being in a quality time? What does that even look like?
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing
too.
You
need to touch me, but don't spend time with me.
Acts of service, but once I'm done,
get out of here.
I'm done. I feel like the other ones are just like warm ups or just ways to have quality time outside of gifts. Like, I don't know. You see what I mean?
No, the big question is the Enneagram, though. Like,
oh yeah.
Because I feel like people use, like, I think the Enneagram has value. I'm a 3 and I see that, but I feel like people use it to justify their flaws. They're like, oh, I'm selfish because I'm a 3. It's just the way I am.
I mean, well, you can say the same thing about astrology. Like, I think those same people that like misuse the Enneagram use astrology for about as good of a purpose as it's
But isn't astrology where I'm not fully.
I'm not super versed on astrology.
But isn't that when like you're born a certain month, so that means you're a Leo?
Yeah,
and that means you're a leader or whatever it means.
Yeah, it just means like I'm a Leo per se, and like it just means.
I'm a Leo too. When's your birthday?
Yeah, no, we're both in August.
Oh, nice.
We know this.
Hey.
You're August 7th.
I'm hurt. You don't know these.
No. It's 17th.
8. I'm August 8. When
because Jordan's is the 7th.
Yeah.
And mine's the 19th.
Okay, but like I would say that the Enneagram has more clout in my mind because. Saying your characteristics are based on when you were born is stupid in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, even like psychologically, like people have been backing. That's kind of like the Enneagram's interesting because it's like kind of an ancient tradition that was like orally passed down. And if you read much about it, there's actually warnings. Part of the reason that people didn't know about the Enneagram before this was because there was kind of like it came from a Catholic tradition, and there was like this big thing. That they were like, okay, we're not going to write it down because if you write it down, then it becomes gamified in a party trick, and then everybody knows their numbers, and people like are just like see it through that, and that's not what it was for. Right. Like basically, like people like counselors and priests and things used to use it as a tool to like help people, and they would basically help them figure themselves out based off of like the pathways that are kind of like aligned in the Enneagram. But now it's written down, and people have very simplified it to the point to where now. You know, it's basically what you're talking about, where people are like taking it and misusing it and whatnot. Yeah. But I think we probably should
check the camera.
Reset. Yeah.
Okay, let's reset. We're gonna take a quick break.
We'll be right back. You don't slate?
I don't slate. I just like I've edited probably 500 music videos.
And you've never slated?
I've never slated. I'm just like, just line it up. It's not a big deal.
I mean, I guess you don't really. I mean, and if you're off by a couple frames on a music video, nobody cares because you're obviously lip syncing anyway. Like it's over it.
Not obviously. Whoa, low blow. Sometimes it's live.
Okay. Just because you've done it live once doesn't mean sometimes it's live.
Okay. Let's jump into something else right now.
Well, no, we got to finish our conversation. It was about the Enneagram.
Oh, yeah, the Enneagram. Yeah.
So, basically we got to the point where we were like, it's people, people started writing it down, so it kind of became the party trick, and that was kind of the reason that people were trying to avoid writing it down. that's kind of the philosophy of it. So yeah, it can definitely be like oversimplified.
Yeah.
And, but
it's just so popular right now. There's an Instagram called Enneagram and Coffee.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, she blew up.
Like she'll talk about like a typical date for a 3, and that's me. I'm a 3, and it's like you will give life coaching advice on your date, and I'm like, oh crap, I've done that. Like,
you have
now
done
when
that?
I'm on a date, I'm like, don't give advice. Like don't try and help. Like I want to help you, but like I'm gonna let you figure that out. Like I'm not here.
Well, I mean, you just see like how to be more efficient. Like other numbers comparatively to 3s are like not nearly as efficient of people.
My ex-girlfriend, I don't know what she was because when we dated, the Enneagram wasn't that big a deal. But I remember every time she had a problem, I was all like, hey, here's how we fix your problem.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I want you to understand my problem.
Yeah.
I don't want you to fix it.
I want you to embrace me while I'm having this problem, not be like, hey, like let's just go do this thing.
Let's go fix it. Like if this is bothering you, let's fix it. That's the solution. But she never viewed it that way. And that still blows my mind. I'm like, if I have a problem in my life, I want to fix it and move on. But some people don't look at it that way.
No. And it's complicated for numbers too to like understand each other because like I'm a 9, and the whole thing with a lot of 9s is that, like their roots, like the root sin or kind of their flaw, I guess, is that like we're lazy, and that shows itself in different ways, like having to like numb out and things, but like people just, and you do kind of have like low energy, but one of the best things about it is that you're very chameleon-esque,
right?
Like you can kind of. I actually just had a conversation because I don't know a ton of 9s. I know a few, but I just had a conversation with a female 9 the other day, and we were going back and forth, and she was like, so when I was like, so, God, how do I frame this? I was basically like, so whenever you're with people, do you ever do this thing where you become very self-aware and you go, oh, this group of people that I hang out with sometimes has no idea who I really am because I've put on, and she was like 100%, but this is like if you feel that way, that's how 9s are all the time.
Wow.
It's just like all the time. You're just like because you're just like melding things together. Like it's like what's the easiest? Like I'm gonna be the grease in any situation.
Right.
What is like the easiest way to be that grease? And it's a weird and then it's a little hard because then you're like, it's like and it's not lacking in confidence of like who you are in yourself, but like you don't belong to things very well. Like it's hard to like grasp on to things and like feel a part of things.
Were you ever into the Myers-Briggs?
A little bit. I mean, like in college we had to do it.
Right.
I can't even remember what I
don't either.
I was so down the middle on tons of them. Like literally there was like one that I was, because it goes from like a scale from like 30 to 0 and then 30 to the other side, and I was less than 10 on like all of them.
Oh.
So I was just very centrist, which makes sense if you look at the Enneagram and go, oh, he's a 9, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Because
you can kind of be wherever, wherever. So that makes a lot. That actually helped me understand the Myers-Briggs better after I had the Enneagram.
Yeah. So I just know that stuff to me just seems like
does it seem like hogwash?
It just doesn't. I don't know. Until I saw the Enneagram, I did the test. That's the first time that I did one of those. And I was like, that is me, and it freaks me out. And so I
mean, the Enneagram is good, man. It's good, and people. Like there's also built-in redundancies. Like there's like a lot of things that like they'll go like 3. Here's 12 things, and you'll go, I fit 8 of those,
right?
And you're like, yeah, but that's still most of it, and like so that means you probably have a lot of these tendencies, and it's all like in the likelihoods. So they're never like that's one thing that I don't like about horoscopes because they're like Leos are or Cancers are like this is how you are.
And it's based off when you're born.
And it's based off when you're born, which doesn't have any metric on. Right. Like people are basically suggesting that like the moon has a super strong effect based on when you're born. It's kind of throwing all science out the window, but like with the Enneagram you can go, okay, these are like the personalities are pretty hard to scientifically quantify, so like to just like give these somewhat generalizations and then go, hey, these are some pathways you might be on, make a lot more sense.
Totally. Hey, speaking of the moon, you mentioned this.
Oh no.
Okay. No. I know the moon controls the tides, so we can agree on that. That's science.
Sure,
that's a fact.
Sure.
But I also know in my life the moon has messed with my sleep. Have you ever experienced that?
With your sleep?
Like I remember a night when it was a full moon, and I literally the next morning woke up on the middle of my floor, and I don't know how I got there. And I was a Monday night. I had school the next day. I was playing guitar.
So you're telling me you're a werewolf? That's what you're saying?
I don't know something. But then I remember talking to my buddies at school, and they're like, "Yeah, I had a weird sleep situation too." I think there's something weird with the moon and how we sleep.
Okay.
You may think I'm crazy, but
I don't think that you're crazy.
You think I'm off?
Crazy is a
misguided, maybe.
Okay. I would say that the moon has a non-zero impact. Like it's not nothing.
Okay.
But it's small. Like I think that there could be, and like people say that about like how people act a lot of times with the moon.
Like they'll act crazier on a
like a full moon,
more likely to loot a store. Or
like
riot.
Which again, like I'm open to, but I've never heard any sort of like real sort of.
I don't know. I'm not citing science. I'm just saying anecdotally in my life.
Yeah.
There've been a few situations where
and
I
could get behind that. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I'll say that. Like I'm not surprised to be like to hear like someone say that like.
And there's correlation, not necessarily causation.
Yeah.
I've noticed some full moons I've not slept right. And I'm a big sleep cuddler.
I mean, that could be confirmation bias too.
Maybe.
You just go, because like if you don't sleep well and it's not a full moon, you don't think of it. But if you don't sleep well and it happens to be on a full moon, and like a full moon lasts like what, a day or two, like 2 or 3 nights. So like out of 3 nights maybe that the moon would be almost full or full enough for you to be like, oh, I bet it's the moon. Yeah. It's probably at least 3 nights. So that means 1 of 3 nights if you don't sleep well and like in the middle of the night you go, oh, there's the moon and it's full. Then it's like it's more of like a confirmation bias. Yeah. That's kind of how I see it, more so than it's actually having an effect. But there's an actual term for that, like where like you're seeking out something and because you're looking for it, like you notice it more.
I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember the phrase for it, but yeah, what were you saying? Sorry.
I have this problem. I've always had this. I'm a big sleep cuddler. So like when I used to tour a lot, I'd tour with bandmates and we shared a bed. Toured, I know.
Toured.
That's how my people say it. Toured?
No, you're from Texas.
I know people who call it toured. How do you say tour?
Yeah, tour.
Tour?
Yeah.
Where
I'm going on tour.
From? You're from
I'm
Virginia.
from Virginia. Yeah.
Weird. Tour. No, when I used to tour.
I feel like that's like Midwestern. Tour.
I don't know.
Like that, you sound Canadian. Like, sorry, I'm going on tour.
There are people in Texas who grew up a street down from me, and they'll be like, wee, howdy. And they're like super Southern. I've never had that. Do you think I have a Southern accent?
No, I mean, no. I mean, comparatively to someone from Philadelphia, you might have a Southern accent. But no.
Not like for the South, not for Nashville.
Well, I mean,
maybe?
like Nashville. Now, if you're talking about like Mount Juliet, like Gallatin, somewhere outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
Also, can we just talk about this for a second? People that say that they are Nashville natives, but have lived in Franklin their whole lives.
Yeah, they don't count.
Sorry, dog.
That's not right.
It's
that's like
not
a more local topic.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same.
It's not the same thing, even a little bit. It's not even kind of the same thing.
I've been here for 12 years in Nashville proper.
Yeah.
I am a native, or I'm a local. What am I?
I've been here since 2012, so I'm coming up on 7 years. And like I've had a Nashville address the entire time. I've not lived in Nashville.
You're not a poser.
No.
What about Brentwood?
No.
Brentwood doesn't count?
No, dude. But okay, you know what? Here's the thing. Whenever anyone mails you something, what do they write on there?
Yeah, you're right.
That's where you're from. That's where you're from.
That's so like Dallas, because Dallas is notorious for having a lot of like little suburbs like Plano or Richardson, whatever. Sure. And everyone says they're from Dallas, but no one's from Dallas. They're all from like, Highland Park or whatever.
And it's so not. Well, here's the thing. I don't mind that because like if you're just like. If you're like, oh yeah, I'm like, if you're somewhere else, so you're from like you've been living here for a few years, and you go to somewhere and you're like, hey, where are you from? I'm from Nashville, and people are like, yeah, okay.
If they're outsider.
But here's what I don't like. Here's the only thing that I hate this is whenever people are like, I'm a Nashville native, and that makes me special because Nashville's blowing up and nobody's from
here. You're like
a
hipster, like you were here first.
No, you weren't.
You're Franklin, okay?
You have never spent. I was like, do you know what is like at the intersection of 14th and Numbrian? Like, no. You don't. You don't know downtown. You don't know the city. You don't know East. Like, you don't know. You don't know Nashville. So like, go back to Franklin and stop acting like you're from here.
That's terrible.
Like, it's fine that you're from the area, but just say that. Like, like to lie and claim, like to lie.
I know.
That's
and
what
to
it is.
use it as like a point of pride, like as a badge.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're unicorns because basically people that aren't from here don't know this, but like there's this whole stigma around people because Nashville has grown exponentially in the last decade, really a little less than the last decade probably. Like it started like right before I got here. I was like that very first wave. I didn't realive that it was becoming a cool thing.
First wave Nashville.
I was first wave like new Nashville. Is like what they're calling it. And but like people that have been here for longer than that, or like that were born and raised here, they like have this pride. They're like, oh yeah, because like But basically, you just lived in a city that wasn't cool
for a long time.
For a long time. So it just
you got lucky that it got cooler.
And now you're complaining that it's cool. Yeah. So shut up, dude. What are you doing?
That's so true.
It's so I hate it, dude.
Yeah.
I have friends that I literally was talking to a friend last night, and she's that. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
from Franklin.
Yeah.
And we literally had this exact conversation, and I was like, because it says in her Instagram bio, it says Nashville native. And I'm like, stop, dude. That's not even true.
Yeah, you're not. You're not one of us.
You're not.
You're an outsider.
You've lived in Franklin for like 20 whatever years.
And I hear that place is fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And then
she says this. She's like, I'm a 25-minute drive from. I was like, you just admitted
Yeah.
that you're not here.
You're literally out
You're
of town.
actually close to a half an hour. You could watch an entire episode of a sitcom.
Right. And you would be here.
And you would be here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have even made it. And I actually said that, and she goes, actually, Friends is like 22 minutes. I was like,
gosh.
oh my gosh. Okay, whatever.
With commercials.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But that was a really big tangent to my story.
Yeah. Sorry.
When I was on tour, I'd travel with these guys that I played with. And I remember sharing a bed one night with this guy, good friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
And I woke up in the middle of the night to him yelling at me. I'm like, what? And he said that in the middle of the night, I reached over and grabbed him, and I said, sup, girl.
No.
In the middle of the night.
Why?
Because I sleep talk, too.
You sleep talk?
So, like, if I sleep next to someone, like, I slept next to my sister once on a family vacation.
Oh, okay.
And I hugged her, and, like, I can't sleep next to people. Like, that's why Marty and I sleep next to each other, because we both mutually like the touch. So we cuddle. Like, she can handle it, but anyone, guy or girl, I can't sleep next to them.
Really?
It's actually a problem. I cannot help it. I will cuddle you so hard if we sleep next to each other.
See, I feel like whenever I've ever slept with like next to somebody, I don't really want you there. Like
no.
because I'm not a small person, I'm not a small human, and I'm a warm body.
Right.
Like even whenever I first walked in here, one of the first things I said was, it's kind of warm in here.
Yeah, no, I know.
And so like having, I mean, you're just, you know, like your body temperature is like in the 90s. That's
right,
like
98.
It's like,
hopefully.
Yeah. You have like a hot, wet blanket just on you.
I'm not endorsing sleep and cuddling. I just can't help it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm not.
We will never sleep next to each other. I promise you.
You don't know that. You should.
Okay.
You should.
I don't know that, but hopefully we don't. But like, I went on a trip with some of our friends, and I was sleeping next to Jarek, our buddy Jarek.
Yeah.
And I remember putting a wall of pillows because, like, I am not gonna hug this dude in my sleep because it will change the dynamics of our friendship so much. Because I have lost friends over this.
Are you serious?
And I don't want to do this. I just can't help it. It's in my sleep. I don't choose this life.
You think you just like yearning for connection all the time? What's going on?
I don't know. It's subconscious.
It's subconscious.
Like in my sleep, I will cuddle any living thing next to me. I can't help it. I've even Googled it. It's a thing. People do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're not alone.
I'm not alone.
Definitely not alone.
There are dozens of us.
Wait, so how did this go from touring to this? You're on tour. You were sleeping next to somebody.
Yeah, next to
that
dudes.
was the story. Okay.
And so I got to the point where I was like, I'm just not going to tour anymore because it's not worth it. You're not going to sleep cuddle my friends.
No one will ever see me sing in front of an audience ever again.
Because I'm going to sleep cuddle my bandmates.
Yeah, no.
I need my own bed. I'm a diva. I'm sorry.
I'm a diva.
I'd rather sleep on the floor than sleep next to a
How
buddy
long, like, did you actually tour? Like months, years?
In my life?
Yeah.
Oh, for probably 8 years.
Yeah.
All college, for multiple years after.
And
that.
Were you headlining or were you opening?
It depended on the show. My biggest tour, I was opening for this guy, this YouTube guy. And then my smaller stuff, like college shows, I would always headline. Or like small venues I could headline. But I mean, my favorite thing, I used to play coffee shops. And I'd go and like just say, hey, just come. And I remember I packed out this coffee shop in Wyandotte, Michigan. And it was so much fun. There were literally people behind me. And I was like, hey, just come if you want, free show. And then we passed around a tip jar or whatever. And it was a blast.
Yeah.
But the reason I quit touring, other than the sleep cuddling, was I did 100
really
shows.
Was that really?
It's really that. I did 100 shows in 2015. I came off the road that year being like, never again.
100 shows?
100 shows. 100. A third of the year I was gone, just on the road. And it was just like.
And these were not all weekend days, though. They were.
No, it'd be like the whole summer you could do weeknights.
During
the school year, like the fall, I'd do weekends.
Sure.
But it's like you'd find yourself in the middle of like.
100 shows, though. That's pretty awesome, to be honest.
Like. For that time of my life, it was huge.
I could imagine, like, if you do, like, 100+ shows each year for a decade, you're like,
no, I've probably done 1,000 shows, probably.
Really?
So I like, I'll play more shows in the future. It's just not my primary goal right now.
Sure.
Like I'd rather write and create. Just because being on the road it's lonely.
It seems like a taxing thing.
And this stage of my life, I have a dog. Like I want to have a relationship when it's right. Like have friends that I don't cuddle. Like you know what I mean? Like I want to have like a normal life.
We'll have friends that if you do cuddle, they go, "It's okay. I know you. I know you."
Okay, this is good though. This doesn't meet my love language. This does nothing for me.
This is nothing for me.
But I don't know, man. The road was so much fun, and like as a young, like 18-year-old musician, it was a dream. Because I'd go play college, and afterwards I'd just go to a party with a bunch of the kids.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun.
I love that you
nothing
say kids.
More fun.
I love that. That's you say kids.
Now I say that. Now if I go to a college,
bunch of the kids.
Okay. Whatever.
Hey, no, it's fine.
Babies.
Hey, you know, it's fine because like, you babies. But it's so funny because we have a bunch of friends that are not in college that are acting like they're on spring break right now, and it's hilarious.
Well, this is a sad story. When I graduated college, for about 2 years after, I was kind of in denial. So I would hang out on the campus and play like frisbee or like go to the gym. And I remember I did it so much that like 2 years after I graduated, I went on spring break with a bunch of freshmen.
Oh yeah, you told me this.
Like that's where
you went to Florida.
I did. That's where I was in my life.
You so loved college.
And honestly, like some of my best friends are from that trip still, which is crazy. But
really,
I loved college so much. Like,
see, I didn't dislike college, but we had very different college experiences. I'll definitely say that. One being that I went to Trevecca, which is like a Christian college, basically.
Were you allowed to have girls in your room?
I mean, like once a week.
Really?
Yeah, for like 2 hours. But there was like strict rules, like you had to have all the doors open.
Oh yeah, that was us too.
People would walk in.
Yeah.
Like it was. So yeah, there was no finagling really whenever it came to that, and like.
Sorry, my lip was itching. But I was gonna say, I checked in 2 girls over my college experience. I checked into my room. One was my girlfriend at the time, and the second was my mom. So 50% of those.
Check in your mom.
Yeah, I had to literally give them my mom's ID and leave the door cracked. How lame is that?
I mean, you never know. You're from Texas. Who knows?
Okay, whatever.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, like, I had a good college experience. Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed it. But if there's one thing that I felt like whenever it ended, I was like, the one thing that college taught me was that I didn't need college. Like, that's
really?
Yeah.
Did you finish?
Yeah. And
really?
Yeah. But did
you got that paper?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought you left.
No.
Because you're a film major, right?
Yeah.
See, I thought most film majors are like musicians. They just like drop out. Like they go for a year and quit.
Oh, no. Well, okay, so I went from my first half of college, I was an accounting major.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
you do math? You do the math?
I do some maths sometimes.
I didn't know you did maths.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very eye-opening.
No, well, okay, so like that actually is what frustrates my mom because like I don't like, you know how like a lot of people that are like, I guess the quote unquote creative types, like they have struggles in like the normal like STEM subjects.
Right.
I never did. Like I was that was like the things I was good at, and it was never hard. Like I never had to put any sort of effort. Right. So that was part of the reason that it was never interesting because it was never difficult.
Right.
It was just like a thing. It was like a task. It was like a chore.
Right.
To just have to go through.
Right.
So that's why it never like enticed me to want to like do it more or whatever. Yeah. I feel like now that I'm saying this, it sounds really arrogant, but I don't mean it like that.
So you're like really brilliant, and, like really awesome.
That sounds terrible.
No, it's cool.
As I said, I was like, ew. I feel like I'm like not bragging, but I don't know. It's like it seems gross. But like it just was. So like that's never was the thing that interested me. And so then like I went through accounting, and then I won't say that accounting like those classes and like some of those business classes were all easy because they weren't. But like I could do the concepts. I understood things. I just hated working on it. Like and I was like, I remember. Okay, this is a fun story. So I was after my freshman year, somewhere between my freshman, or maybe after my sophomore year. I was home from college in Virginia, and I went and shadowed at an accounting firm.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
And
that sounds.
I went in at probably like 9 a.m. And they like showed me around this place and everything. I was watching this guy do some work, and I literally was like sitting there, and he was like, "Okay, I actually have to do some actual work right now, so like give me like a half an hour." So I was basically just sitting there, kind of watching what he was doing through Excel and everything. I fell asleep.
You fell asleep.
I fell asleep in his office.
No, you did
Yeah,
not.
I did. I fell asleep while I was.
Well, you're not going to be an intern here.
While I was shadowing him, I fell asleep, and he turned around, and he thought it was really funny. He turned around, and he was like, "Hey, man," and I woke up, and I was like, oh. And he knew for sure, and I was like, "Oh no."
That's a terrible first impression.
It was a terrible.
And now you don't do accounting.
Now I don't do accounting. I think it's probably a good thing.
That's probably a good thing you fell asleep.
It's probably a good thing.
You could be falling asleep every day of your life right now.
Yeah, for sure. I could be. God, dude, I would be dying. Like, it would not be good. It would not be good.
Oh my gosh.
I was so not good at, like, I can't fit into like that mold almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I'm not good with the structure.
I
I want to structure my own life.
Yeah, like if I have control of my own thing, then I'm relatively a structured person. But dude,
It's just not fun to have people breathing down your neck.
No, God, I hate it.
And sitting I love my job is 9 to 5 every day sitting at my desk,
Sure.
but it's creative and it's on my terms.
You're
It's not
making music and you're making your own stuff and you're
it's fun. It's rewarding.
Yeah.
But I remember doing those spreadsheets and I did insurance my first job.
Yeah.
Cold calling.
And you enjoyed it kind of.
I mean, here's the thing. I liked making money finally.
Sure. Oh yeah.
That was cool.
That's one thing that's been still a bummer. It's like that's part of the inspiration for our name because like hey,
you'll get there.
One of these days. But
you'll get there. But I don't know. It's very fulfilling to do something you love that you feel called to and that's creative.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing like it. Like I've had terrible jobs, and I'm so thankful to not anymore. Okay, we're back.
There's a small. So let's just apologize. It was kind of my fault. There was a small video error. We have a camera right now that only shoots for a certain amount of time, and I mistimed it. So there will be probably a weird jump, but we're back now.
We're back now. It's a lot of a learning curve. Yeah. We probably spent an hour today trying to set this up.
Yeah. There was like an XLR cable that was dead, so it fooled us.
And then we had an input. It's just a whole.
It was just a whole different.
But we're gonna figure it out.
It's been a mess. But this is like the first episode stuff. So
what do you expect? It can't be.
Cool. It can't be it
would be Joe Rogan day one.
Yeah, no. It would be. I would be annoyed if we just came in and it just worked super easily. The fact that this,
I think that's awesome. I'd be like, that's a dream.
The fact that even just this table exists.
Oh, we didn't have a table.
Yeah, we didn't have a table.
An hour and a half ago, we're like, we have nothing.
No, we don't know what we're gonna do. We stole these mics from our friend Tyler.
That's right. Thanks, Tyler.
And if you can. We should put up a picture of just how ridiculous it is to have this small of a camera on this big of a tripod.
Yeah, we'll send you a picture.
Basically, the monetary value of this tripod is higher than the camera that is standing on it.
That tripod probably could pay for a month and a half of your rent.
It's ridiculous. And there's just this one little mirrorless camera just sitting on top.
Yeah. It's because I used to do video work and now I just use it for selfies.
It's so ridiculous, dude.
It's very ridiculous. Okay, what do we want to hit them with at this point?
Okay, so podcast? I think we're gonna have a repeating segment where we talk about content that we're ingesting.
Oh yeah, that we're consuming.
Yeah, that we're consuming, and then we'll kind of review it, talk about it, suggest it to each other if we haven't seen it, and then just kind of go over and tell you guys what we're ingesting because I think that's fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to recommend one or two things from each of us. I think the first thing that I consumed in this past month was I watched that Michael Jackson documentary. Have you seen that? Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but dude, there's been some finagling about this documentary.
Wait, what do you mean?
I've been listening to people talk about it, and there's the guys, it's super sus. The guys that come, that did it, it's weird, man. Their motivations.
You think they're biased?
Okay, we'll say this.
Real quick, some context is it's called Leaving Neverland. It's about Michael Jackson and what he allegedly did with those kids.
And basically, there's two guys, right, that are saying this is what he did to us.
Well, what's crazy is there's other people who said he did nothing. Macaulay Culkin is nothing ever happened. Exactly. It's just these two kids.
It's just these two kids, and
there's later, after years of denying it, came out when they were older.
Yeah, well, and they also in their mid-20s to the justice system, in court. Testified.
They lied under
saying that maybe they lied or maybe now they're lying. Right. But they whatever they said was at the time they were no, nothing happened. Right. And they were in their 20s. They were not kids anymore.
They didn't come out until after he passed and then they sued his estate.
Well, and there's another thing too because they were there's this whole big line of thought that they might have been doing this whole thing for a profit sort of thing because if you but I mean if you look at their careers and stuff their careers never took off the way that they wanted to, so they were having money trouble
monetized
this. So they're now he's gone, so now
They just sued his estate, so who's the victim here?
Exactly.
But I don't know, man. If nothing else, I don't know if he did it or not. I hope he didn't. But you shouldn't be having sleepovers.
Exactly. Bottom line, if you're
an adult
in your 30s or 40s-year-old man. But like a lot of people are like the dad of the Jackson family was so terrible that like there's a realistic argument that MJ could have just been like wanting a childhood and wanting to hang out with young people.
He was. Because he never had a childhood.
Yeah. He never had a childhood. Like he had obviously had like rough mental problems and like after he got burned and everything.
But you can have a childhood without hanging out with little kids.
Yeah, no. I mean, I get it. I'm not saying that I'm supporting it. I'm just saying like
don't be pro.
But easy, dog, easy. But all I'm saying is like I don't know. It just doesn't seem like whether it's true or not.
Right.
I don't like the way that they're doing it.
The documentary?
Well, I just don't like these guys for having gone and been like, no, and then yes, and then no.
No, I know. They should have.
Like, pick a side, dog. Don't pick the money side. That's like what's frustrating. That makes me want to not believe them, whether it's true or not.
Right,
not to say that they deserve
money.
Not saying anything like that. But like, you're doing it not for holistic reason. Like, you could have done this 20 years ago, and if he was doing this, like, how many more people did he do it to?
Well, he had a lot of younger friends, or he knew a lot of little kids and would hang out with them, and only 2 have come out, so I don't know.
It seems, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's not creepy that he spent that much time with them, like, alone.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
for what, a month? Like 30 days? That was the big line, right? It was like that you spent like 30 days with.
Oh, I mean, he had like long-term relationships with these kids. He met one of them when they're like 5 or 7 and hung out with them until they were older. And
well, I mean, like at a time, he spent like 30 days at a time, like every night.
He asked one of the mothers if she would leave her son with him for a year because they lived in Australia, and she said no, but he wanted the kid to stay with him for a year.
I mean, I believe, man.
Either way, it's a very dark.
Yes, yeah.
It's a rough topic, but it was interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And I wish that there was more from Macaulay Culkin and the other side, but it's an interesting watch.
And that was the other criticism too. It was like it wasn't like a fair piece. It was like it was a hit.
But
piece.
how many documentaries give both sides?
I mean, the best ones,
right?
But yeah, no. There's generally always some sort of slant.
Like you look at Making a Murderer, and it's very like pro, or even the thing about Serial now. And
yeah.
I don't know, but that was something interesting. Another one that I've been watching is a show you showed me, Friends from College. Really entertaining.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to like that.
I didn't expect to. So we were just hanging out with a couple of our other friends the other night, and we like made pieces. It was a fun little time. And then afterwards, we were watching, like we were just gonna like watch a show or something. And we were flipping through, and I've already seen Friends from College. It's got Keegan Michael Key, Jesus, from Key and Peele, and Colby Small. What's her name?
I don't know names.
The girl from How I Met Your Mother.
She was Robin on How I Met Your Mother.
Robin on How I Met Your Mother. Yeah. Like both of them are in it, and like it's a great show.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
It's super entertaining. It's so entertaining. So,
I told my friend that I was watching the show. She's like, "Man, they're so morally bankrupt." And I'm like, I think that's what makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
Not endorsing their lifestyle.
Yeah, no.
But
like
it's really
like it starts with affairs. Like it's like that's no spoilers. Like that's like it's like literally it opens to an affair. Like that's how the show opens.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, but it's a great fun show.
It's fun. What have you been watching?
Okay, so we went and saw Captain Marvel.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So I know that you love some Brie Larson.
I love you. Well, I'll say this: I fall in love with whoever's in front of me at the moment. So I was like, Brie Larson's always, on the radar. But I saw her, and someone's like, "Who's your top 3 celebrity crushes?" I literally put her to number 1 the night after.
Really?
Like seeing her as a superhero.
Seeing her, I would let her bop these aliens, man. Just like it was a fun time. Like it, and people, there was a big backlash. Did you hear about all this backlash with Captain Marvel and Brie Larson and Rotten Tomatoes and all this? Did you see all this? So basically, like, okay, so context. So Brie Larson, very liberal woman, and she at some point in an interview said something about the fact that like the amount of people that were doing press junkets were like overwhelmingly white or something.
Yeah, she wanted more.
And so she wanted she would only do. She basically said that like. And I don't know exactly what she said or if she meant it like this, but this is how people definitely took it. She basically said, like, if a straight white dude is interviewing me, I'm not going to do it.
Wow.
And so then people were not thrilled. People were
I wonder
upset.
why.
Yeah. And so, like, And I kind of get where like the idea is coming from.
Yeah.
It's a poor execution, and I don't know
intention,
her.
Poor execution.
Yeah. Like I don't know her word for word how she said it,
Right.
or if people are blowing it up. But that's definitely how it was received, and that's how like the ethos of the internet received it. So she got trolled real hard on Twitter, and then like basically Rotten Tomatoes had to change their community grading guidelines because they got trolled so hard by people on Rotten Tomatoes, like in like the community sections of comments and everything, that they like had to shut it down.
So they got rid of the comments.
Yeah, I think like something about that, like they got rid of the comments or they got rid of the rating because it like tanked the Rotten Tomato rating for like the community one. Yeah, so like there was like all of that around Brie Larson, but
you enjoyed the movie.
I had a really great time watching the movie, and like at the end it kind of like syncs her up with everybody. No spoilers really there because that's pretty obvious. And now. But, like, I've been watching the Marvel movies for my entire young adult life.
They're iconic for you.
Yeah. I mean, like, 2008 was the year that the first Iron Man came out. That was my freshman year of high school. Wow. So that I was who they wanted, and they've had me the whole time. Like, I have not left.
I missed the boat on Marvel. Like, I'm not into superhero movies. I'm not. I saw Black Panther. It was fine. Like, didn't change my life. It's fine. Yeah, Captain Marvel's fine. Brie Larson was very attractive. Dude, I like that.
And see, that was one thing I was going to say is, like, people like kind of mentioned that like, oh, there's not female superheroes, and I never really had noticed. And there are some. There are definitely some.
Catwoman.
But even in the Marvel franchise, you got like the Scarlett Johansson Black Widow and like Elizabeth Olsen, who I love Elizabeth Olsen. She's the Scarlet Witch.
I don't know what that is.
You haven't seen? Oh, because you haven't even seen the other Avengers movies.
I've seen one of the Avengers.
Oh, you know, like the one that was in love with the red guy, and the one that you've seen.
Oh yeah.
Her.
Oh, okay.
I love.
Oh, yeah.
You know who that is, right? Attractive. That's Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's sister.
No.
Elizabeth Olsen.
No.
That's who that is.
That blows my mind.
I love her, dude. She's my favorite. And she's gorgeous, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And she's so good. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Wind River. Oh gosh.
Is that a superhero movie? Or?
No. It's that's actually like that was like in the Cannes Film Festival.
Okay. I need to say, the only superhero movies that have ever stuck out to me were the first Spider-Man. Back in like
Tobey Maguire,
like
Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire, like that was iconic for me.
Oh sure, I mean like I was a kid too.
No, I remember like when that trailer came out, he was in a web in between the World Trade Center towers.
Oh yeah, and they had to edit it.
And during the ad campaign for that movie, 9/11 happened, so they had to change the trailer and get rid of that. It was crazy. That was great. Love that trilogy minus the third one. It's kind of emo. Yeah, kind of weird.
Where he's doing the snaps and stuff.
I know that was terrible, but I still enjoyed it. But it was terrible. And I love the Batman Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, of course, the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
If Christopher Nolan ever came back and did that again, I would die.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, all three of them were amazing. Like, obviously, everyone looks at Dark Knight Rises because of Heath Ledger and the Joker.
Or wasn't that just the Dark Knight?
Oh, yeah. Dark Knight Rises was the last one. Dark Knight was the first one, and Batman Begins was the very first one. So, Dark Knight, everyone was like, holy moly. Because Heath Ledger was phenomenal.
I know.
No, but all that to say was what I was trying to say. I've tried to say it like 3 times now. I keep going off on tangents. Is that I never realized how different it would kind of feel for there to be like a central female lead in a superhero movie. Yeah. Like I saw Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was fine. Right. But it's a DC movie. It's not in the same universe. Right. It's not like the same sort of ethos around it. Right. So it didn't feel like different. Right. But for whatever reason, I saw the Marvel one. And, like, to have it a Marvel movie based around a female character, like, there was an element that was different. Right. And it was cool. And I enjoyed it. And, like, I didn't realize that there would be anything different there. Like, I actually, like, I don't know. Like, it didn't seem like it would have any sort of significant impact. And, like, I think for a lot of people, maybe it didn't. And that's fine. But, like, as a person that's been a fan of these movies for forever, like, since they've been starting, like, there was something special about it. Yeah. And it was cool. It was like it was a different thing. It felt fun, and it set up Endgame perfectly for like
the final Avengers movie.
final for this phase, for the most upcoming, like what's going to resolve what happened with Thanos, like all of that, and so Endgame's going to really set off. So that's going to be crazy because Endgame's happening in April, like second weekend in April, and so I'm going to go watch that, and then that's basically going to determine, like that movie is going to determine whether or not I keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because now I'm 25. Right. I'm not like outgrown of it. I'm not going to try to say that, but it's,
it's a different stage of life.
It's a different stage of life. Like, how much do I want to care?
Right.
But like, if they keep killing it, I'm not, I'm down for it.
Wow. So When did the first Avengers movie come out? What year do you know, roughly?
2012, probably. I think it was 4 years.
This is crazy. Back in like 2000, 2001, I was on a family vacation. I was watching local news. I was in Colorado, and I remember seeing a local newscast, like late at night around midnight, just a rerun or whatever, the 6 o'clock news, and they were talking about how Marvel or some DC or Marvel were going to start making these mega superhero movies for the future, like Avenger type movies. And this was like 10 years prior to these movies coming out.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were, I guess, working about it or talking about it then, and then it happened 10 years later, kind of blows my mind that I saw this 10 years in advance on a local newscast.
Well, and like Kevin Feige, the executive producer of pretty much everything that Marvel's ever, like all of Marvel's big moves is Kevin Feige. Like that's who does them. And he's had a vision for a long time.
Right.
And he's like been the flagship for everything that they've been doing. And like I guess like even whenever he first made Iron Man and first got RDJ involved, they still
Robert Downey Jr.
Nice.
Did
you not know?
I was like, RDJ, what the heck?
Yeah, of course, Robert Downey Jr. Whenever he got him involved and like they made Iron Man, like that, like still doing the Avengers was kind of a pipe dream. Like it kind of like now that it worked out, it kind of seems more like it was all planned. Right. But like I've listened to this guy talk about it, and it was not. It was.
Wasn't that true with what's that movie where everyone was painted blue? That was.
Oh, Avatar.
Wasn't it the same thing? They were just like waiting for like 10 years because the technology wasn't caught up yet.
Well, yeah, and apparently like there was so much rendering and everything. Like that movie had to be rendered for like an ungodly amount of time off of supercomputers after like it was done. It was done, and they were like having like these warehouse full of computers render this thing.
It should have been mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Better use of their time.
Better use of their time. Well, I mean that would have been a perfect time for it because that was probably like what, around 2010, something like that.
Did you ever get Bitcoin?
Yeah, I was on. I had some, but Jason.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, like Jason was on it, and telling us about it. So the highest value route for Bitcoin was like $25,000 to per Bitcoin. Whenever Jason first told us about it, you know how much it was?
How much?
$72.
Okay. Well, I remember years ago hearing about Bitcoin. And it was $300 a coin, and it wasn't really a big deal. I got my credit card, and I was going to go purchase a coin, but it was expired, and I never came back to it. Like, I was literally going to just buy this coin. I probably would have forgotten about it, and I still was kicking myself because I'm like, could have bought this $300 coin. And then
my good friend Adrian, we actually have this always joke of he was like right out of high school. He never went to school. He just started working. And it's worked out well for him because he's got a good job now.
Oh, he didn't go to college?
No.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, he literally worked in IT like through his college years.
Right.
So yeah, he never went to college. I didn't know that you didn't know that.
No, that's
cool. So he never went to school. But at one point after that, he was like working and living alone and like making decent enough money to where he had like some disposable income. And he decided that he was going to buy a computer. And our buddy Jason at the time was like, or you don't do that, and instead you buy Bitcoin.
Oh my gosh, I wish I knew Jason.
And Adrian was like, I don't know, and he thought about it, and he decided not
to buy the Bitcoin.
Not to buy the Bitcoin. So he put like $400 to $600 into this computer, and we do the conversion all the time because at the time Bitcoin was like 70, like it was like $70.
So he could
have probably got like 5 or 6. Yeah. It's probably like $130,000 that he's missing out on.
So that's like the most expensive computer he ever bought.
Yeah, he doesn't even use it anymore.
Oh my god, that's one of those things though. Like, would you have sold it?
You know what's
when
crazy?
It was $1,000 a coin. You know
exactly. Like who knows? But I don't think so because Jason was like we've been in touch with him like through the whole process and like knowing when and what to do. Right. He's been pretty in the know about it. Right. So we had like the best advisor for it, like. Yeah, so
you didn't buy any either.
I didn't have a significant amount. Like I had some,
didn't have $72.
No, but I mean, like I didn't even like I was so broke, dude.
Yeah.
I was in school and I tried to work, but I didn't work very much. And when I did do, it was like everything to just like go and get.
How much do you think Jason bought? Do you know?
Dude,
a lot.
I don't know. But
I know his brother.
I know one thing for sure that whenever Jason got married, he went to South Africa for 2 weeks. Yeah. And it didn't bother him at all.
No, I was gonna say I think his brother might have paid for med school on that.
He's not in med school yet, but yeah, whenever he starts it. Yeah.
Either way, I think we should hit him with the last segment. Yeah,
oh, we should probably reset.
Oh, we should reset. Okay,
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna
should
take another break. Here we go.
We're killing it right now. But she lived in Japan for like 5 months during that time.
Oh my gosh.
I've never even had a relationship for that long. Like he held a relationship while he was here, and she was in Tokyo for longer than I've ever been in a relationship.
Oh my gosh, that sounds
ridiculous.
terrible.
Okay, so now we're back, and we're yeah, okay. Ignore that.
He's got Tourette's.
Basically, one of the things we wanted to do coming into these first 2 episodes is kind of do a little dive into each other.
Yeah.
And so we're going to start this one by doing a dive into you.
Yeah.
From me, and kind of just giving like, I don't know, brief history, like what's been going on, who you are, where you come from, that kind of thing. And then next week, it'll be the inverse. So you'll be doing it for me.
Yeah. Yep.
And so a lot of you guys already know Landon probably because that's where our audience is. But
I don't know.
Who knows? If you don't know who either of us are, so here we go.
That's cool. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, that's super fun. But so like you are from Texas.
From Texas.
And
Dallas, Texas.
And you are like you are Texas.
I'm like literally Texas.
Yeah, you are Texas.
Every room in this house has a Texas flag.
It does. Hey, you love you some Texas.
Love me some Texas.
A lot of people don't know you're half Mexican.
I am. My mom's Hispanic. She's like.
You're not half Mexican. What is she?
She's like Mexican and Spanish.
Okay.
So I'm half Hispanic.
So, but you can't really tell by looking
like
at you.
Darker complected. I'm super white.
I met your mom and I didn't believe it.
No, I know.
I was like,
you mean my mama?
Mama?
Yeah.
Mama?
Yeah.
No. But then I meet your dad and I go, okay.
Yeah, he's super white.
Yeah, your dad is pasty.
He thinks he's part Cherokee. A lot of people in Texas think they're like Native American. I think a lot of Americans think they're Native American.
I mean, I even like my family used to say, "Oh yeah, we're part something."
That's
I think
like
it was
such
Cherokee.
an American thing.
Yeah,
like,
such
we're
American.
part Native American.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 1/32 maybe.
Yeah, but it was like that
Like
lady.
you've
Who was
seen a
it? Who was
teepee.
it? Like in the Senate or whatever. There was like I'm Native. And she was like
Elizabeth
1/1000th or
And then
something.
Trump's like, okay, Pocahontas. He called her Pocahontas.
That's so dumb. It's so funny.
But like when I travel abroad, I'll tell people I'm from Texas. Like when they ask where I'm from.
You don't say the states. You say Texas.
Yeah, I say I'm from Texas. And like people like, they're like, what? Like half the time they don't even know.
It's so funny. What is like? Okay, well, I'll preamble that question with this: is that we've had a conversation before where we were like, if you could live anywhere in the world or go anywhere in the world, where would you want to be? Where would you want to live? And you want to live here. Like you don't want to be anywhere else. You want to be in Nashville.
I've traveled a lot. I've been fortunate from work travel to be able to travel, and even like for vacation, whatever. And I love going to Canada. It's fun. Love going overseas to Europe. I'm going to London next month, and there's just no place like Nashville. Like to be near music, to be in the South. I love the South. It's fun down here. The weather's great. The people are great. Cost of living's good. I love the music. I just love here.
But you also love Texas.
So I love Texas.
What is the thing that if you could bring like Texas to here, like what would you add? Is there anything?
You know, I think Texas, a big part of it for me is just like being from there. It's like this pride and this like national.
Because people don't have like a Tennessee level pride like Texas has.
No, they don't. I don't think.
Or even like Americans really. I mean, unless you served, it's like you don't have that same level of patriotism.
For a guy who hasn't served, like I just have a lot of pride in Texas. And I think the air is sweeter. You know, the open plains, the sunsets.
See, mountains, man.
I know. I'm not big into horses either.
You're not big into horses?
No. I actually once when I was in Canada, I told someone that I rode a horse to school, and they believed me. And I was like, really? Like, I'm from Dallas. Like, it's not country.
No. Well, but people don't know, and like people, especially Canadians, who knows what they've been told.
They have moose.
Yeah.
What's the plural?
It's just moose.
Mooses. I don't know what the plural is for moose. Is it moose?
It's definitely, it's like deer.
It's like fish.
Yeah.
They have multiple fishies.
They have multiple moosies.
Okay, next question. That's terrible.
Okay, so this is something that people don't know. People don't know that, first of all, in your personal life, even now, whenever we meet people, you don't, and I'm starting to understand this even more, that you don't tell people that you're a musician.
Right.
You say that you do marketing. I've like watched this in real time where people will go, "What do you do?" And you go, "Oh, I'm in marketing." Like, oh, cool.
Because when you tell people you do music, there's multiple things you get in response. My first response I get is like, "So what's your real job though?" Like, what restaurant do you work at? And I'm just like, I don't want to have to explain this. No,
like I made it though.
No, all I know is I can pay my mortgage and I'm happy. Everything's good. But like I just don't. I don't know. I don't like that. Like, oh, so you're, and especially being in Nashville.
Sure.
Everyone's a musician.
Yeah.
So that's another tier of it. It's like, I just don't want to be like everyone else, where it's like, oh, I'm a musician. Like, oh, it's like you trying to make it. I'm like, not really. Like, I'm happy. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever happens, happens. And then the other response is like, oh, like they want to see what you do and they see if there's something they can get out of it. Like, oh, we can work together. There's something. It's just there's so much being in Nashville that goes into it. Kind of like LA. So when people ask, I like to say I do marketing.
Yeah.
Like that's just easy because they don't ask questions. They don't care.
And this was kind of the same thing because you always kind of did music. You always played guitar. You played some sports? Did you play sports whenever you were in
track and cross country?
Yeah. Like, but okay. But that wasn't. You still did a lot of music, but people even then really didn't know very much.
I mean, in high school they knew I played guitar. I was like a guitar player, but like I didn't sing till after high school really. And
then when you got to Belmont, like.
Oh, when I got to Belmont, now Belmont's notorious for being like musicians, music majors, music business majors.
Right.
I came to Belmont as a business major, general business, had nothing to do with music, didn't tell anyone I did music. But what's crazy is like all my friends are in bands and doing all this production. I'm just there doing my business classes, playing guitar secretly and like incognito. But what's crazy is my first semester there, I entered this competition called Doritos Crash the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I became a top 2 finalist. So next thing I know, I missed like a month of classes. I started like doing interviews and like filmed this massive music video in LA that was paid for by Frito-Lay and Interscope Records. And I signed this kind of pseudo record deal and all this stuff. And I came back.
And that's when you were touring and everything.
Yeah, and started touring.
And your ad played on the Super Bowl. Like you were in the Super Bowl halftime.
The
but like
pregame show, they aired a clip of me playing.
Yeah.
But my friend Keenan Granis beat me, so they aired a commercial of that was
that
a
she was
video
in
of hers during the Super Bowl, like after the first quarter, like millions of eyeballs, crazy. But it was a huge opportunity. And when I came back to school, like everyone knew I did music. The secret was out.
Right.
So I remember.
But you were a business student before you left.
I was a business. Like I got a business degree. Like I sold insurance. Like I did not want to do music. Music was fun, but it wasn't my path. But I just remember coming back. I got a message on MySpace, and this dude was like, hey.
MySpace. You're dating yourself.
He's like, hey, can I book college shows for you? I'm like, yeah, you can book shows for me. And like a month later, he booked me 20 college shows. I'm like, whoa, are you for real? And he's like, yeah. And like I started touring. I was gone a lot.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And then I started playing all the on-campus events. Like there was this thing called Fall Follies. I played that and Christian Showcase and Best of the Best and all these events. And it was awesome. It was really cool.
And so that was like kind of like what started it. And then you had that terrible YouTube account under what was the title of it?
What a reminder. So I was a big fan of Tay Zonde. He did Chocolate Rain. Chocolate Rain.
Shit.
Yeah, old viral video. And so I made a YouTube account and I said my username was Tay Zonde Fan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't that big a fan. It was just the first thing that came to mind. So I did a cover of Chocolate Rain, but I hid my face. And everyone thought I was John Mayer for some reason. Like,
well, you kind of have the build.
Yeah, I guess.
Your chin. You guys have similar chins.
Similar John Mayer chin. That means a lot. I love John Mayer so much. But I remember I posted this video. This is like 2008.
Yeah.
And that night it got like 100,000 views. Now in 08,
that was a ton. Yeah.
Like it was like the 20th most viewed video of the week on YouTube. Wow. And then I started posting more videos. I had a video on the front page of YouTube back when there was only 5 videos. Like there were 5 videos on the front page and I was one of them. Yeah. That was awesome. And it just kind of launched everything.
But then you were still under that username, and then your friend Luke, was that his name?
Yeah, Luke Connor.
Luke Connor.
So I was valeting. I'd quit my insurance job. I emailed 50 YouTubers. And what's funny is it's a lot of them, like Tyler is one of the people I emailed. A lot of them are people I'm friends with now. And I was like, hey, please work with me. I'll do anything. This guy, Luke Connor's like, I'll do a video with you. We did a video, put it out. He's like, the only way I'll put this out is if you start a new YouTube channel under your name. And I was devastated because Tay Zonde Fan had 7,000 subscribers, and I worked so hard for every single one. He's like, just start over, get a Landon Austin YouTube channel, and we'll post this video tomorrow. It's like, fine. We post the video, and I got 8,000 subscribers
that day.
We posted it. Like, that day. I was like, thank the Lord. Oh, my God. Thank you, Luke. Because honestly, today, I could still be Tay Zonde Fan, and no one would know who I was at all.
So were you, like, the whole time while you were doing the Tay Zonde thing, was like no one knew, like you never showed your face still, or like...
So I started to show my face. It was just terrible branding because to find me, you had to Google
Tay Zonday fan. Yeah.
Now it's like associated with my name, and through doing that, I had the Taylor Swift experience.
Yeah. Where you met T Swift and dated her dad a little bit.
Long story short, I've told this story a million times, but Taylor Swift tweeted about a cover I did of hers. The night she tweets me, I go to the store to get a cookie cake to celebrate the tweet, and she's there and she sees me and recognizes me. It was crazy. Next thing I know, I'm hanging out with her dad at her concert, and he had his arm around me, and he took me to a hockey game the next week and introduced me to Carrie Underwood, and I never saw her again. I never saw T Swift again, or Carrie for that matter. But I got to be super
Come on, T Swift and Carrie, what are you guys doing?
I know, it really hurt.
I thought we were tight, you know.
All of that stuff kind of propelled me into the YouTube world, and I always tried to keep it a secret, but every time I did, it was honestly a big blessing. God just kept opening new doors for me to make stuff and for people to know about it. It was wild.
That's awesome.
It was cool.
And so now I guess I think I feel like the history of you is like that. Those are the beats. Like those are like I feel like at least the career wise. Like those are your career wise history beats. Right. But now I feel like people are curious because like you're in like a strange place right now, which is successful, but not like musicians have never been successful the way that you're successful right now.
Right.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Like, what is it like to never leave here? But you put out a song last month that was an original and it's got over 1 million hits like this past month, and it's like that's crazy. Like crazy. That's a hit, but you're not doing you're not going down to Broadway. Like no one's watched you actually perform in like how long?
Probably a year.
Yeah. So like what is that?
It's literally a dream. I love what
it's the best thing.
It's the best thing because when I used to tour all the time, I remember sitting in my hotel room being so alone and like I just want to make stuff. I want to be home. I want to be with my friends.
Sure.
So now I sit in my office every day or my studio, this room, and I create songs. I write songs or I'll produce songs with other artists.
Right.
I work with people all the time, and literally I just create and I put it out. And some songs will do really well and get a bunch of plays. Some won't do as well. But either way, I just get to create every day. The biggest downside of it all is 9 to 5. I'm mostly by myself with my dog. I don't have coworkers. Other than that,
but I mean, until you collaborate or if you're like shooting a video or something and you're out,
then I'm out with people. Yeah. I love my work because it's on my schedule. I love that the harder I work, the more rewarding it is. Like I'm very self-motivated.
Sure,
that's the Enneagram 3 in me. I find my value. I know it's a throwback.
But that achievingness.
I know, but I just love it, and it's cool because a lot of people don't get it. Even fellow musicians don't get it. Like I have friends who want to be musicians and they're like, "Oh, I want to get on the road and open for someone." And I'm like, "Hey, that's awesome. More power to you." But
that's not the path.
It's not the path I want to
go. And I know that like you might not even feel like you're like equipped or suited to give that type of advice, but like for someone that's like a musician or an aspiring musician that hasn't made it yet, like would you tell them to try to do it your way because there aren't people doing it, or would you tell them to do like the road thing, like, or would you tell them just to not do it?
Here's what I would tell anyone and everyone who asks, and I meet with a lot of artists who find me on YouTube who want to get into my space, and I'm very fortunate. It's a huge blessing. Not everyone can make it the way I've done it, but I'm a firm believer that the way music is now, like if you wanted to make it in music, make it in the 90s, you had to sign a record deal.
Sure.
If you're not, you're playing in a bar every night making $50, whatever, like. It's another thing. But the way the internet is now, there's so many opportunities. I mean, if you want to hit the road, there's ways to network online and meet other artists and like build an audience. So I would tell someone who's aspiring, whether you want to do it the way I do or don't, do everything. Plant seeds everywhere. That's what I've done. I've just thrown a million darts at the wall, and some of them have stuck, some haven't.
Sure.
Like there's certain things where I thought this is going to be my
because
thing.
You have done all the other things too. Like you've done the live performance, you've done the touring, you've done like so like. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Where like you have a foundation, like you stretch yourself out and you go, okay, I'm gonna try this tour thing, and you come back and you're like, but I'm still a musician. I can still do this.
And I have friends who are very successful on the road. They love it, but they put a song out online and it doesn't do very well.
Sure.
Like I may be the inverse. I'll put a song out online and it can do really well, but I don't really want to be on the road. Or if I go play a show somewhere, I don't know. But like, I just think you should do everything especially when you're self-employed and you're a musician. Because at any moment, any one of these things can fall away, or it could not stick to the wall. So I just think do it all and see what catches. And do it all. What I mean by that is like post YouTube videos, like release songs, like do pictures on Instagram and whatever, and go
like be interactive. Because that's one of the big things right now is that like people care so much about like I've been hearing this a lot is like fame isn't it's not like this. It's not cool to be ambiguous and famous anymore.
Right.
Like fame is interpersonal. Like that's why The Rock is so huge.
Right.
Like everybody.
Or even Taylor Swift.
Yeah, or even T Swift. Or like these people. It feels like you know them. Like you meet these sorts of people, and like famous people all the time say like they meet fans.
Right.
And they say like fans will say to them like, oh, I feel like I know you. And it's like because you share so much of your life with these people, and that's like a big thing. Like people don't care about like the Johnny Depp weird guy thing anymore.
Right.
Like it's not nearly as like it's not nearly as appealing.
And I would say the time that I started YouTube, it was pre-Snapchat, pre-Instagram stories. So the only way you could really see into someone's life is if they did vlogs or made these videos. And I really feel like I was able to capitalize on that because I toured before YouTube and I toured after it. Before I'd go play a show and they're like, hey, I like this song. That's why I'm here. After it, they'd be like, hey, I love your dog. Hey, I know your favorite cookie is like oatmeal. And they'll like bring him for you. It just really bridged that gap and connected us. Like it was unlike anything I experienced before. And I feel like you can do that now with Instagram stories.
Is that a weird thing? Like, do you mind having people that you don't know? Like I know and you know, very, very famous YouTube guy, Casey Neistat. Yeah. He said that one time he got into a cab and that the cab driver recognized him and then asked him how his daughter was doing. Yeah. And he was like, he's like, something about that was off. He's like, nothing about the guy. The guy wasn't creepy.
But it can be off-putting.
Yeah. It's just like strange. Like the way, and like, I guess like the level of fandom between Casey and you is like slightly different, but like even
he's like way up here.
But even if like anything like of that sort of thing happened.
To give you an example, that can be off-putting, but for the most part, everyone I've met's been really cool. And but the funniest story is I was walking across the street in Hillsborough Village and here in Nashville, and this car, I didn't see it coming, and it had to slam on its brakes. It almost ran me over. And so I'm like, feel like I'm about to die, like I'm like heaving, like bent over, like I've almost died. And 30 seconds later, I get a tweet and it says, I almost killed Landon Austin. And I'm like, thank you for not.
That's hilarious. They tweeted you?
Yeah, they're like, I almost killed Landon Austin. I'm like, I'm so thankful you did it. Like, I can keep creating.
That's ridiculous. That's hilarious.
Know. I've never been bothered by the personal connection. I thought it was cool.
Which is kind of part of the inspiration of this. Like, whenever we talked about doing it, you were immediately like, I didn't want to have to, like, do it on my own and find guests and things. But, like, to do it and, like, open up to people, it seems to be...
And fame is never the end goal for me. I'm not famous. It's like I think people in my circle, in my niche, know about what I do. And these are people who maybe like my music or they've seen a video or whatever. But like I've never been seeking to be famous. Like what's the benefit?
I feel like those people, like you spot them. Like it's a different mantra. Like people that want to make something to make it. That like it shows up in your art as well. Like it shows up so fast.
Right.
That's what you're there for versus like people that are wanting to make.
Like if I wanted to be famous, then I would be pursuing a record deal. I'd be hitting the road every night and networking, finding a job opening. I just want to create and like put it out. And I've been blessed to where I can pay my bills doing it, but fame has never been the end goal.
No.
I just want to make stuff.
So what is it that is inspiring you now to like keep
What's crazy is 2018 was a wild year for me.
Oh, we might need to reset. Do you want to finish this?
Because
we're literally on the.
Okay, let me reset it.
Yeah, let me reset.
No, we're gonna take another quick break.
You're gonna thank me for that.
Since you're doing the edit, you'll thank you.
That's true. I don't know why, but something about like earlier, you're like, oh yeah, it's so easy. I was like, oh yeah, well.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Anyway, what was I saying?
We're talking about fame and then talking about
what were we talking about? We were talking about I should have written that down.
What inspires you now?
Oh yeah. So like you wrote that song, if I want to get it right now.
Yeah.
Now.
So I have my
now streaming on Spotify.
Now streaming on Spotify. The song's called Now. So what inspires me now is like there have been times I've done music because I knew that it would be rewarding maybe for my business or for growing an audience or maybe financially.
Sure.
But now a lot of what I create is based off my personal life. So going into 2018 was rough. I went through this breakup a few days after I met you or re-met you. And that whole year, like through dating new people and going out there and making new friends, there was a lot of heartbreak and there was a lot of like really cool little successes. So I've just started writing a lot. So I write about things that happen in my life. And it's just so inspiring and cathartic to be able to write about real situations that now I'll write something like, I don't know if anyone's going to listen to this. Like I wrote Now, which is my recent song, and it's done really well, but I didn't know that people would listen to it. I was like, I'm just going to write this song. I'm really hurt from this breakup. And this is kind of
and to give that breakup context, like you guys were together
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, like a long time.
Like there was like, I mean, like even whenever you got this place, like she was planning on, like it was like
she helped me pick out this house.
You were making moves towards like setting up a life.
A ring shop. Really thought I was going that direction.
Yeah.
And so when we broke up, it was kind of devastating. But I wrote this song about it, and it was really because I saw her on a date with this guy that's now her fiance, and it kind of shook my boat. Like this was like many months later, and I was like, whoa. So I went home, and the only thing I knew how to do was just write a song about it. So I wrote this, put it out, and it got a bunch of plays. It immediately got put on this really big playlist. Like, that's cool, but it's called Alone Again.
It's like super
Always
sad.
Alone.
Yeah, it's
the
super
saddest playlist ever. But I'm like, wow, it's reaching a lot of people, but it's the saddest people in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, those are the people that like that's where you wrote it from. So like the people that will receive it,
I will say
probably going to be in the
you're right.
space.
And a lot of people relate to that story, that emotion. And when I put that song out, I put this little note attached to it on Instagram on my story about what it's about, what I went through, and I probably got 300 messages from people that I don't know, like, hey, I'm going through this too, like I get it.
Yeah.
And it was so weird to me because like I don't crave fame, I don't crave notoriety, but like to have people like relate to something I made is like 10 times better than any of that. Like,
and even if like even if it was 5 people.
Yeah,
like the number doesn't matter as much.
Doesn't matter.
The fact that there's more of them, that's cool. But like if you get one, you're like, oh, that's cool. You get like if you get a handful, you're like, wow, that's like you've made an impact on these people.
And I hate when people are like, oh, it's about the people, the fans. Like, I'm not trying to be weird. Like, genuinely to have someone message you and be like, hey, this thing you made is helping me in my life. Yeah. That is really cool. Like, it's genuinely cool. It's not some cheesy like.
And even like in moments where it's like very super emotional, but even like for just like something like fun and everything, like, hey, this took my mind. Like that's how I think about things, because like whenever I've ever made anything or done anything, if anyone's ever like said that it was good or whatever, it was never because it like helped them personally. It was like because it like removed
some negativity.
Yeah,
maybe.
Either removed negativity or like they just got to escape for a little bit.
Yeah, and that's helpful too.
And that's the same thing. It's like it's like that's all. That's like that's like you get that and you go, oh yeah.
No, in my song now, like I don't know if it helps people escape from their breakup pains, but the fact they can relate to it is cool. And just getting those messages has been unreal. And like I put out that song a month or 2 ago, and I'm still getting messages.
Well, sure, and like it's not stopped. Like,
I know
hitting,
but like it's wild because like to me, like I hate that song now because I spent so much time with it and it was so vulnerable.
How long did it take you from like the starting of the writing of it to like when you actually released it?
Probably took like 2 or 3 weeks where I was refining the writing, and then another month of production.
So what does your process like kind of look like at least like a little bit like highlights? Like do you start with like, are you like just strumming and you go?
It normally starts with a really bad date. Or someone who like breaks up with me.
Yeah, plenty of those.
It's some girl being like, hey, it's not me, it's you.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be a song at least.
Yeah.
I can monetize this.
Sure.
Silver lining. Oh, that's what's so funny, because I spoke to my ex-girlfriend recently, and this is a whole other story for another episode, but she had called me to tell me some things, and she had brought up the fact that I had written the song about us, and we were talking about it. She was telling me how it really like emotionally did some things for her, and I was like, cool, whatever. And we're talking about this pain or whatever, kind of recapping our relationship, and I was like, the silver lining is it's getting a lot of plays. Like, I know.
You said that to her?
I kind of did. I was like, you know what? Because it kind of lightened the mood, because we're talking about our relationship.
Because there's something really deep. Yeah. And this is like a person you're not with.
If nothing else, even if we didn't work out, I got a good song out of it.
Well, I mean, and plus, like, you don't make, like, that's one of the cool things. Like, you would never make that mistake a second time. And, like, even just, like, since knowing you now and, like, knowing who she was, it's like you'll come back and you go, I don't know. It's like.
No, yeah. We're both better off. But
it's
cool to be able to say, hey, here's a song. This is kind of therapy for me to write this stuff down. And then if people listen to it, that's an added bonus.
So it starts with, like an experience.
Like
an experience.
Because I used to write songs before I really had experiences, or not before I had experiences, but before I had like real life.
Like the ones that like kind of like changed you emotionally, changed like because like this relationship like you wrote a song about, like literally if you were still together, changed the course of your life
completely. Like if I didn't meet her, I would be a completely different person right now.
Yeah, you'd be in a so different place. We probably wouldn't be sitting here. Like
I probably wouldn't even know you. No. Like it completely changed my life, my decisions, my career, everything. So the songwriting process for me now is I always try and write based off something that really happened, because it's so much more real. And if people listen to it or not doesn't really matter, because this is something that's kind of helping my healing process.
Sure.
And then you can also use songwriting as a way to celebrate something.
Right. Yeah.
It's just really cathartic, and then you produce it and put it out.
And then it seems like, I don't know, like where you did I lose it? It seems like with how you make stuff, it seems like it's even now it's still changing a bit, and it's like getting like. Do you think you're getting better? Like, would you say that you're better now at like production or writing a song or creating anything than like 6 months ago?
I'll say I'm better at songwriting now that I'm being true to my life, because I used to write about fake scenarios. I'd be like, hey, what would this be like?
So do you ever like go and how much of it? Okay, this is what I'm comparing it to. So like, if I'm ever doing something like writing something about anything based off of a real experience, I'll get into it and then I'll flub a lot of details.
Right.
And I don't mind it because it's like I'm not writing from that sort of thing. So is that a thing that you do? Like if you're like, is it all pretty much accurate, or do you ever like add in flares or like mix in like 3 different people into one song? Like
so I'll say this. When I write now, kind of my unspoken rules are, I want this to be true to a scenario that happened in my life.
Sure.
The biggest thing I'll do is I'll exaggerate, because I'll give you an example. I wrote this song called All My Love, and it's done pretty well. It's kind of an under-the-radar song. I haven't promoted it a lot. It's about someone that I went on 3 dates with, but the song's called All My Love, and the premise is I gave you all my love, and you didn't give me any back. So it's like, if this person knew we went on 3 dates, that I wrote a song about her called All My Love, she would say, you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it's a true scenario.
But like you boil that down and you go, oh, all that really means is like, oh, yeah, like I tried to give you all this affection and there was no response.
Right, no response. And
but to make that into a song,
you can't say like, hey, I liked you a lot. Like, that's not a good hook for a song.
No.
Like, I really liked you. Like,
unless you're being ironic and like you're like, I really like you. Like
it's not the kind of music I do.
Yeah. Is it not?
To this day, like, if she ever knew that song was about her, it's called All My Love. I would be mortified. But it's all true. Like, what I said was true. It's just exaggerated.
Do you think she could tell? Like, if it's her, she's listening to the song. Do you think she could tell? Like, is there enough details?
Probably not, because I only went on 3 dates with her, and there's only so much you can experience in 3 days.
Sure.
Now, my ex-girlfriend knew that Now was written about her.
Like, almost immediately.
It's clear. Like, it's like very much about us. And other songs I've written are very clear, but there's a level of exaggeration.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, I think we're going to wind this up.
Yeah,
but
we need to,
this has been a good time.
Yeah, good time.
I've been enjoying it.
So, biggest thing, I guess, if you enjoyed this, do you have a Twitter?
I do. My Twitter and Instagram are both my first name, Canaan, Canaan, and the first part of my last name, Which. Like sandwich. So it's just together, Canaan Which.
Yeah, feel free to go give him a follow or a tweet or a comment on a picture.
Yeah.
Me as well. Hit me up on Instagram.
Let us know what you guys might, if you want to hear anything specific about what we want to talk about. We like the content stuff. We like what we're doing right now, but we're open to suggestions. And I think this was a bit of a dive into Landon, and next week is going to be a bit of a dive into me from you.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be super fun, and we might, tell crazy girl stories. I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows what's going to go on this show? I have no clue. It's really nice to have it kind of open-ended.
It is open-ended. But, follow this wherever you see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Subscribe on wherever you listen to this.
I mean, people know how to like go be fans of things now.
I'm not gonna get into it.
You know what to do. Like if you're seeing this and we're like, hey, go do the things. You're like, oh, I got the things.
If you want to see it again, you know where to find us. Okay. Thank you for watching.
I feel like we don't have an outro, so like I'll just pour this water on you. I don't
it's
know
like
what
up
to do.
and away, up and out.
No, up and almost. You
up
got
and almost.
Up and away.
I think about the name of the
show.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're thinking about Superman, like Superman. I'm up and away.
I was thinking about the show, but I couldn't. It's our first episode. I didn't remember the name.
Up and almost.
Up and out. Okay, that's it.
Up and out.
Up and out.
I feel like that's a good way to end it. Up and out.
Up and out.
Yeah, we're up and I'm up and he's out. I'm up and. That's ridiculous.